Hello, Paula Daniele from Crochet Hooks You here. Today I'll be showing you how to make the edging on the soft crochet chevron blanket. Now if you haven't made the soft crochet chevron blanket yet, there'll be a link on your screen there so that you can watch that video tutorial and make your blanket. Otherwise today I'll just be showing you how to make this edge. Now what I'll be using is the same colour that I used for my blanket, which was a red heart with love yarn, and this is called Berry Red. And with that I'm using a 5.5mm hook, which is an eye, and I've needed my craft scissors and a yarn needle. To start on the edging for this soft chevron blanket, just have your work sitting so that here is your foundation chain here, and you'll notice that it is your foundation chain because it bobbles up compared to the other side, which lays flat. So once you know you've got the right end here, you just need to turn your work this way. And we're going to start in this corner here. Now I'm going to be using my red yarn for the edging. And just pop your hook into that corner, and we're going to join in this yarn by making a slip stitch. Now as we work up along this edge, we'll be working over this yarn tail. So we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches into this corner here. So there's our first one. And as you can see, I'm working over this end tail. And there's our second single crochet stitch into the corner there. Now you move up, and we're working into the sides of the double crochet stitches, and we'll be putting 2 single crochet stitches into here, and then moving up again, and then 2 single crochet stitches into the space where the chain 3 was or is, and then we'll just be doing that right along the edge. So it's just a very simple edging which really finishes the blanket off and gives it a neater look. So moving on into this, the side of this double crochet, popping a yarn tail over the hook so that we're working it in as we go. There's our first single crochet stitch into the side of that double crochet stitch, and now we're going to do a second single crochet into the side of that double crochet. Now we move up to here where the chains are. And in that space we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Moving up to the next stitch, which will be a double crochet stitch, and we're working into the side of it. By popping 2 single crochet stitches in there. Then you're moving up and you find your chains here, and we're going to put 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2. So if you keep going right along this edge up to the point, right up to the end here, where you will see your last double crochet, and you pop 2 single crochet into the side of that last double crochet there, and then I'll see you there. Okay, so now I'm up to the end of that side, and you can see I've made my last 2 single crochet stitches into the side of this double crochet here. So now you're going to turn your work and head across this top edge here. And how we do that is we're going to work into this first, into the top of this first double crochet stitch by making a single crochet, and then with each stitch along, all we're doing is just making 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch along this edge. So this is very easy. This is a very easy part to do. So continue on just making your 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch along this top edge, like this, working under both loops of each stitch, and then when you get to this last one here, I'll meet you there. Now I'm at the end of this edge, and your last single crochet stitch should be made into that chain 3, the top of the chain 3 here. Now for the next edge, you're going to move your work around this way, and now we're going to work into the sides of the chains and to the sides of the double crochet stitches. So into this chain we'll do 2 single crochet stitches. So there's 1, and 2. Now into the side, and if you're having trouble figuring out where to put your hook, all you need to do is simply just pull the stitch out, and you can see that there's a length of the double crochet stitch. You can almost pop your finger through, and that's where you need to place your 2 single crochet stitches. So there's 1, 2. Now we've got a chain, and it's quite easy to see where we need to crochet into. There's a little piggy hole there. there's one single crochet and a second one. Moving down to a double crochet stitch here, and you can pop your finger through there, and that's where it needs to go. So 1, 2. So you're going to continue that right along down to the bottom of this edge, and you'll be making 2 single crochet stitches into this last double crochet stitch here, and I'll meet you there. So now I am up to the end on the third edge, and I've just done my last 2 single crochet stitches into the side of that double crochet stitch there. So now we need to turn our work, and we'll be working along the foundation chain here. Now just take close notice that you'll want to start in this one here. We're working into loops here underneath these stitches. So there's the first one, and then you can see that the second one is there, and so on. So you're just doing one single crochet stitch into each of the bottom of those stitches. So I'll let you continue on going along that way, and I'll see you at the end here to join. Now I'm up to the end of the fourth edge, and we're ready to join. So my last stitch was a single crochet into this last stitch here. Now we're going to join into this first single crochet stitch that we made. So just pop your hook under both loops of that stitch, and make a slip stitch. Now we're ready to finish off, so just leave enough yarn that you can weave into your work. So cut that off, and finish off. Now you'll need your yarn needle. Just thread this end through your needle, and you're going to work this end just in down through the middle of that stitch there. And then just up along behind these stitches here. And you can go as far as you like. Then just skip this loop here and bring the needle back this way, and that just secures it quite nicely so that that end doesn't come out at any stage. And then you can trim that off. And then, as you can see, you're just left with this neat, nice little finish on this blanket. So if you'd like to share a photo of your blanket on the Crochet Hooks You Facebook page, please feel free to do so.